Now, the BBC News at 1 with Rajini Vaidyanathan.
Today at 1, the former Scottish National Party Chief Executive Peter Murrell has admitted embezzling more than £400,000 from the party over more than a decade. The estranged husband of the former First Minister Nicola Sturgeon pleaded guilty to a single charge spanning between 2010 and 2022. With temperatures rising, could this be the hottest day ever recorded in the UK in May?
Yes, the record has been broken, but there are health warnings in place as millions of people enjoy this beautiful May weather.
President Trump says a potential deal to end the conflict with Iran needs to be great and meaningful. Tehran says it's not imminent. Pope Leo's warned of the dangers of artificial intelligence, calling for an ethical code for its use.
Here they go!
And they're on a roll as the traditional bank holiday cheese rolling contest gets underway in Gloucester.
Has he been cut off? He's gone.
Good afternoon. Police say he'd abused his privileged position to bankroll a lavish lifestyle he craved but couldn't afford. The former Scottish National Party Chief Executive Peter Murrell was accused of illicitly buying luxury goods, including jewellery, cosmetics and even a motorhome. Well, today the 61-year-old admitted embezzling more than £400,000 from the party. Mr Murrell, the estranged husband of the former First Minister Nicola Sturgeon, pleaded guilty to a single charge spanning 2010 to 2022. Well, he's been remanded in custody and will be sentenced next month. Our Scotland editor James Cook now reports.
The SNP's chief executive and Scotland's future First Minister were married in 2010. They were the nation's new power couple. But within a month, Peter Murrell's criminal career began. For more than 12 years, he went on a spending spree with SNP funds, splashing the cash in John Lewis, Harrods, Homebase and dozens of other shops.
How are you going to plead, Mr Murrell?
Guilty to years of deceit, including the purchase of these vehicles, a luxury motorhome which cost £125,000, seized by police from outside Murrell's mother's house. A Jaguar I-Pace, seen here at the home Murrell shared with Ms Sturgeon on the outskirts of Glasgow, and a Volkswagen Golf. He tried to cover his tracks, falsifying documents and forging signatures to disguise the true nature of some purchases as legitimate party expenses. But at dawn, on the 5th of April 2023, it all came crashing down. Nicola Sturgeon was in bed when detectives knocked at the door, searching the house and arresting her husband. She said later it was a day of horror, upset and shame. Police also raided SNP headquarters in Edinburgh. They'd been investigating the party's finances since 2021. Operation Branchform had begun after complaints that donations to support the campaign for Scottish independence had disappeared.
I just decided that it's totally immoral, and the fact that money went missing and there was no accountability and that people have to be held accountable for their actions, and I was absolutely convinced the money had been stolen.
But months earlier, the SNP had closed ranks, with Ms Sturgeon insisting its accounts were in order.
Money hasn't gone missing. All money goes through the SNP accounts, independently and fully audited. We don't hold separate accounts. We're under no legal requirement to do that. Our accounts are managed on a cash flow basis, but every penny we raise to support the campaign for independence will be spent on the campaign for independence.
But now the SNP insist they are the victims of crime, betrayed by one of their own. James Cook, BBC News.
Well, Lorna Gordon is in Edinburgh for us this lunchtime. Lorna, this case involving Peter Murrell has been a long-running and high-profile one, hasn't it?
Yeah, Rajini, it's hard to overstate the scale of this crime and the remarkable fall from grace for what was once one of Scotland's most powerful political figures. Moments after pleading guilty, he was handcuffed, led away, remanded in custody ahead of being sentenced next month. He'll also be subject to a future proceeds of crime action. Lord Young, the judge, said Morrell's actions in embezzling more than £400,000 of SNP money, the headquarters of which is just down the road here, was, he said, a gross breach of trust. We've had reaction coming in all morning. Police Scotland said the SNP's former chief executive's actions in taking so much money abused his privileged position in order to bankroll what they called the lavish lifestyle he craved but could not afford. We have heard in the last hour or so from the former First Minister Nicola Sturgeon. Last year she was told she was no longer a suspect in this long-running police investigation. She said of her estranged husband's guilty plea that it was difficult to put into words her reaction. She said she was angry, hurt, sad and very distressed about the impact of his actions on family, friends and the SNP. Adding that to be deceived and let down by the husband she loved and trusted caused her acute pain. Labour and the Scottish Conservatives are saying that the SNP has questions to answer. John Swinney, the leader of the SNP, is due to give a press conference in response to Morrell's guilty plea at the hotel behind me in the next hour.
Lorna Gordon in Edinburgh, thank you very much. Now, we already had the hottest day in May for nearly 8 decades, but that all-time high has now just been broken. A provisional temperature of 32.9 degrees has been recorded at Heathrow, and the mercury could climb even higher. The first amber heat alert of the year is in force for the Midlands, the east and the south of England, with a yellow alert for the north and the southwest. Well, our correspondent Duncan Kennedy is in Southsea for us this lunchtime. It looks glorious where you are, but how's the heat?
It is glorious, and we don't have record temperatures here yet. It is heading up towards 30 degrees here. But as you said there, Rajini, just in the past few minutes, Simon King at the Weather Centre, the Met Office, has confirmed to us that a record for May has just been set in the past hour or so at Heathrow Airport. It now stands at 32.9. The old record was 32.8, set, wait for it, in May 1944, at the height of the Second World War, just before D-Day. It's very rare to get temperatures like this in May in the UK. The last time we got 30 plus degrees was in 2012, and there's only been 10 times in the past 126 years where it's hit 30 degrees in the UK. So a record-breaking day, 32.9, just been broken there. Brilliant news for millions of people. I'll tell you about the amber health alerts in a second, but first of all, we've been speaking to the people of Southsea and getting an idea of how they're enjoying this stunning May Day.
Do you know, I've come over from Spain, I live in southern Spain. It's actually hotter here than in Malaga today. It is spectacular.
I just love it. Just bring it on. More. If this is what global warming means, I don't want the other stuff, but lovely temperatures like this is good.
Got to make the most of this sunshine. We can't complain about it. It's not here long enough, is it? So, yeah, make the most of the sunshine, come down by the sea and enjoy it.
Well, everyone we've been speaking to here have been like that. The mood is very, very relaxed. There are these heatwave precautions in place across many areas, 8 areas declared over the weekend. And also the UK Health Security Agency has put in place amber warnings for parts of the Midlands, the east of England, the southeast and the south. This is really warnings for the very vulnerable in our society, people like babies, older people, those people in care homes and people in hospitals. Those institutions will be taking the necessary precautions. For millions of other people, it's just a wonderful day of enjoyment, with or without record-breaking temperatures. They're just enjoying this May Day holiday. It's going to stretch for a few more days yet, in what many people are saying is an historic year, a glorious year to be out, especially as it's a bank holiday.
You got the tough gig today, didn't you, Duncan? Duncan Kennedy in Southsea, thank you very much. Well, I'm joined now in the studio by Louise Lear from the BBC Weather Centre. So records just keep getting broken, Louise.
It's certainly going to be a bank holiday weekend that we will remember for quite a long time, isn't it? Now, we've already heard about the overnight record that's been taken, and I can show you this in a little more detail. If we take a look at the overnight temperature, well, it was actually broken in Kenley Airport, and this is 19.4 Celsius. But then, with that kind of warmth, we knew that we were going to break today's all-time record. Now, this happened just a few moments ago, and as you can see, 32.9 Celsius at Heathrow Airport. So we are going to continue to exceed that high. Really, really unprecedented to get these kind of temperatures at this time of year. So not only are those two records broken, but it's also the warmest bank holiday Monday on record as well. And we can attribute this heat right across Europe. This is where it's coming from at the moment. So we've got this large area of high pressure in Europe. And if we take a look at that in a little more detail, you can see how widespread it is. Now, we can attribute these kind of temperatures across the UK and across Europe. We are 10 to 15 degrees above average. So this is attributable to climate change. It really is unprecedented. It's great news for those who've gone away for a half-term break. But you can see temperatures across Spain and France. We are breaking records quite widely, and they are also reaching this criteria for heatwave conditions.
And how do you define a heatwave, Louise?
That all depends on where you live. Obviously, again, if you take a look at this graphic, you can just about make out there is a darker red in the southeast corner. So anywhere above 28 degrees in London, in parts of the home counties and East Anglia for 3 consecutive days above 28 degrees. That's heatwave criteria. We have reached that. The heatwave conditions are going to continue, but I will tell you more about how long they're going to last for coming up at the end of this programme.
OK, Louise, as always, thank you very much. Now, President Trump says any deal with Iran on a long-term ceasefire will either be a great and meaningful one or there'll be no deal. Writing on social media, the president hit out at critics who said current proposals include major concessions from Washington. Iran has warned an agreement may not be imminent. That's after the US Secretary of State Marco Rubio suggested that a deal could possibly be even reached today.
We have what I think is a pretty solid thing on the table in terms of their ability to open up the straits, get the straits open, enter into a very real, significant, time-limited negotiation on the nuclear matters. And hopefully we can pull it off. It has a lot of support in the Gulf. It has a lot of support globally. Every country that we've walked through it understands it's not just very reasonable, but it's the right thing for the world to get done.
US Secretary of State Marco Rubio there. Well, our correspondent Tom Simons is in Washington for us. Tom, they keep saying that they're close to a deal, but nothing's materialised yet, has it?
Yeah, Rajini, it's about as clear as the picture of the White House behind me this morning. It's a very foggy day here in Washington and very foggy diplomatically. Let's just go back 2 days. Donald Trump saying on Truth Social that final aspects and details of the deal are currently being discussed and will be announced shortly. And then after that, posting a picture of a drone bombing an Iranian boat. And then this morning saying the deal with Iran will either be a great and meaningful one or there will be no deal. So we have travelled, if you like, full circle since that very hopeful post about 2 days ago that seemed to be followed by the president clearing his diary in anticipation of some sort of an announcement. The Foreign Ministry of Iran, Ismail Baqai, he's the spokesperson for the Foreign Ministry, is saying that they have reached a conclusion on a large part of the issues, but no one can say it is imminent. So I think it's at best that we are at the beginning of the end and absolutely not at the end itself. Donald Trump, despite that, has been taking a swipe at his critics, people in the Republican Party who are worried that he's not going to get a good deal and that he should be concentrating on the cost of living here in the US. And the only good thing so far to come out of this is that the price of oil has come down for now.
Indeed. Tom Simons from a very foggy Washington. Thank you very much for the moment. The Education Secretary is to ask the competitions watchdog to look at extra fees being charged to some parents using government-funded childcare in England. But many nurseries say the government isn't providing enough money to fund the places. Well, our political correspondent Jack Fenwick is here. So, Jack, why is the government so concerned about this?
Well, under measures first introduced by the previous Conservative government, most working parents in England with children between 9 months and 4 are eligible for 30 hours of funded childcare for 38 weeks of the year. And the Department for Education tells us that more than 1.7 million parents use these provisions. But ministers are worried about additional costs for parents when trying to secure a nursery place through non-refundable deposits, and then more once they've secured that nursery place through additional charges for things like food, nappies and sun cream. Now, we've learnt today that Bridget Phillipson, the Education Secretary, is going to ask the Competition and Markets Authority to look at this to see if consumers are being treated fairly. There's a wider context here of the government trying to help out with the cost of living, particularly for families. But on the specific issue of nurseries, the Early Years Alliance, which is a membership organisation for providers, has put the pressure back on the government today. They've told the BBC that the sector has been grossly underfunded for years and that these extra costs are a cross-subsidy to be able to cope with factors such as inflation and an increase in national insurance contributions. OK, Jack Fenwick, thank you very much for taking us through that story. Now, Pope Leo has warned of the dangers of artificial intelligence, calling for an ethical code for its use. Well, he presented his thoughts in the first major teaching document of his papacy, in which he also apologises for the length of time it took the Catholic Church to condemn slavery. Well, our religion editor, Aline McBool, is at the Vatican for us. So, Aline, just tell us more about what the Pope had to say.
Well, this was an encyclical, which is one of the highest levels of teaching document that a pope can issue. And in this, he talks in really stark terms throughout its 250 or so pages about the potential existential risks to humanity, as he sees it, posed by artificial intelligence. And he's listed lots and lots of reasons why he thinks that. AI-driven warfare, the fact that artificial intelligence is displacing people in the jobs market, for example. So it's all very bleak, and unusually Pope Leo presented this document himself. This is how he explained why it was written in such terms.
Artificial intelligence needs to be disarmed. The word is strong, I know, but deliberately chosen because this moment needs words capable of attracting attention, awakening consciences, and indicating paths forward for humanity.
And in a surprise inclusion in this report, there was a very comprehensive apology for the Catholic Church's role in slavery. He asked for pardon. He talked about the length of time it took for the church to condemn slavery. And the reason he mentioned it is because of a suggestion, as he sees it, that the world is at a similar moral crossroads. But this time it could be the digital world that monetizes people, commodifies people, and once again, as he sees it, with the power in the hands of just a few.
Aline McBool, thank you very much. Now, it's one of the most curious and glorious of traditions. Today, the annual cheese rolling races, where competitors chase a double Gloucester down a steep hill, are taking place.
Here they go. 2026 is underway. The cheese goes off to the right-hand side.
Well, as you can see, it all happens on Cooper's Hill near Gloucester. Well, Tom Kopke from Germany saw off rival Chris Anderson to secure a third consecutive win.
I'm telling you one thing. Go on. If that hill is hell, I'm the devil. This will be the sweetest cheese dough I ever got.
You deserve it.
What a great event, pardon the cheesy pun. Now it's time to take a look at the weather with Louise Lear, and we're seeing, Louise, that record for heat is just going higher and higher, isn't it?
It is. We have continued to see those temperatures rise, Rajini. Yes, this is a bank holiday weekend that will certainly go down in history. It's been the warmest May night, but temperatures continue to climb at Heathrow Airport, 33.5 Celsius. That is the warmest May day on record, warmest bank holiday on record as well. And we've pretty much got wall-to-wall sunshine right across the country, with the exception of the far north and west, the odd spot or two of cloud and rain here. Further south, we have plenty of clear skies, plenty of heat, and perhaps a little too hot for many of us, with temperatures in excess of 30 degrees quite widely now. So we go through the evening, you know what's coming, don't you? Those temperatures not falling away very far at all. The cloud will continue continue to break up and move its way across Scotland. But look at this. Temperatures perhaps once again mid to high teens. So another uncomfortable night for getting a good night's sleep. And that means those temperatures will respond again tomorrow. So temperatures on the up once again. A little bit of fair weather cloud and the odd spot or two of showery rain, but a warmer day generally in Scotland. Highs likely of 33, maybe 34 Celsius. Not out of the question once again. So as we move a little bit further ahead, the high pressure is going to change position slightly and the wind direction will make a subtle change as well. So as we go through the day on Wednesday, there will be a little more in the way of cloud across eastern areas. The warmth will shift just that little bit further west, I suspect, as well. Top temperatures likely here of around 28 degrees. A little bit cooler and fresher on the east coast, which could be a little bit of a shock to the system, but the warmth is set to return because as we move through the week, as you can see, we'll see plenty of dry and settled weather. Temperatures back up into the high 20s by the end of this week again. Regina?
A hot few days, Louise. Thank you very much for that update. Well, the next news here on BBC1 is at 6. If you can get out and enjoy the weather, now it's time for the news where you are.